What the Dead Leave Behind. Let me tell you the story that has left me with chills ever since it all started. The night custodian. When I accepted the position at Blackwater County Forensic Services, I expected long hours, paperwork, and more silence than any workplace should reasonably contain. I did not expect the night custodian. The facility sat beneath the city's oldest hospital, buried beneath 3 levels of concrete and steel. Most people imagine morgues as dark, candlelit chambers. In reality, they were bright, cold, and painfully ordinary. The dead were predictable. The living were not. During my first month as an assistant forensic examiner, I noticed something strange about the families who came to identify loved ones. They arrived shattered. They left lighter. Not happy, not healed, just lighter. At first, I assumed it was coincidence. Grief behaved unpredictably. Some people collapsed, some became numb, some accepted loss with shocking calm. But the pattern repeated too often. Every time a distraught family entered viewing room B, a thin man named Walter somehow appeared nearby. Walter worked nights. No one seemed entirely sure how old he was. His employee file listed a birth year that would have made him nearly 90, but he moved with surprising ease. He wore dark, maintenance coveralls and carried an oversized ring of keys that jingled whenever he walked. Officially, he handled cleaning and security inspections. Unofficially, he seemed to know every corner of the building better than the architects. One afternoon, a woman arrived to identify her teenage daughter. The screams coming from the viewing room were unbearable. I was filling out paperwork when Walter quietly entered the room. Less than 2 minutes later, the screaming stopped. When the mother emerged, tears still stained her face, but the panic was gone. She looked exhausted, peaceful even, as if some invisible weight had been removed. I asked Walter what he said. He smiled. "People don't always need answers," he replied. "Sometimes they just need less pain." That answer bothered me for weeks. Then I learned about the building's strangest rule. Everyone had to leave by 7 p.m. No exceptions. The administration claimed insurance regulations prohibited overnight staff in the lower levels. Nobody believed that. Still, everyone obeyed. Everyone except Walter. One rainy Thursday, curiosity got the better of me. I hid in an unused records archive after the evening shift ended. At 7 sharp, the building fell silent. No phones, no voices, only the distant hum of refrigeration systems. An hour passed. Then I heard music. Faint, ancient, like a choir, singing underwater. The sound drifted through the hallway. I followed it. The melody led me to the oldest section of the facility, a sealed wing scheduled for demolition decades ago. A heavy steel door stood open. Beyond it was a chamber I had never seen on any blueprint. Rows of candles lined the walls, hundreds of them. Their flames burned blue. In the center of the room stood Walter. He wasn't alone. Around him stood figures made entirely of shadow. Dozens of them. They had no faces, no features, only human shapes formed from darkness. Walter spoke to them in a language I didn't recognize. One by one, the shadows approached. Each carried something glowing in its hands. Small silver lights. Some flickered gently, others pulsed violently. Walter collected the lights and placed them into glass jars. The moment he sealed a jar, the shadow dissolved and vanished. I must have made a noise. Walter turned. The room fell silent. Every shadow froze. For several seconds, nobody moved. Then Walter sighed. "I was hoping you'd leave this alone." The shadows began turning toward me. Their featureless heads moved in perfect unison. I ran. Footsteps echoed behind me. Not Walter's, theirs. The shadows flowed through the corridors like living smoke. I barely reached the security gate before they surrounded me. Then Walter spoke a single word. Everything stopped. The shadows retreated. The hallway became silent again. I collapsed against the wall, struggling to breathe. Walter approached slowly. "You saw too much." "What are those things?" I asked. He looked genuinely tired. "Regret." I thought I'd misheard him. "What?" "The dead leave pieces behind." He gestured toward the lower levels. "Guilt, fear, anger, unfinished grief. Most of it fades naturally. Some doesn't." "The jars?" "I collect what's left." I stared at him. "Why?" "Because someone has to." Walter sat beside me. For the first time, he looked old. Very old. Older than any human being should. "When families say goodbye," he continued, "their pain attracts what remains of the dead. If nobody intervenes, that grief grows. It spreads." "So you remove it?" He nodded. "A little from the living, a little from the dead." "That's impossible." "Most important jobs are." The next morning I checked the hospital archives. There was a photograph dated 1912. Walter stood in it. He looked exactly the same. Another photograph from 1954. The same face. Another from 1987. Again. Unchanged. I've worked at Blackwater County for 4 years now. I still don't know what Walter really is. A spirit. A curse. Something older. I only know one thing. Every evening at 7 o'clock, he descends into the forgotten levels, beneath the morgue, carrying empty glass jars, and every morning he returns with them full. Whatever he collects down there, the city sleeps easier because of it. And that is why, no matter how curious I become, I never follow him underground anymore.